All right, guys, so here's what's going on. We're going to be doing a kind of long episode here with a trader, very well-known trader, good friend of mine, student of mine, and he's all-around just a good person and a good person to really listen to. I really hope that you sit and listen to this episode. It's like I said, it's kind of lengthy, but there's a reason for that. And I really hope that you really get into it. Just sit down, grab a cup of water, grab some popcorn or something to snack on because it's going to be really interesting. Let's welcome Elwin to the show. And yeah, Elwin, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Big blessed being here.
Lovely.
Ready to drop some gems and pour into everyone.
Lovely. Let's go. Over time, as a trader, you get to realize that you really don't know anything. Right? We don't know anything, bro. Technical analysis and all of that. Now, obviously, and this is something another trader and myself were talking about not last night before. We were saying that there are really only two areas that somebody can judge you on your ability to trade, which is your emotional control and your risk management.
Nice.
Right?
Right.
Your technical analysis. Bro, I could have the most whack technical analysis. You cannot judge me on that. You can't. You understand? Right. There's nothing because nobody really knows what's going to happen.
Even the people we tease their charts with a zillion indicators. Yeah. If they got their emotions in order, they hidden, they got their risk. What can I say? You know, we could tease them, but do your thing if that works with a million lines and indicators.
Exactly. Yep. And that's the thing, right? I mean, I know you and I, we used to do that a lot. We used to tease people a lot, bro. A lot. Right? For drawing all these big cow jump over the moon on the chart and all kind of craziness.
Right.
But if you're doing that and it's working for you, then by all means.
Right.
But the main thing is, the two main things I should say is that risk management and that emotional control. And that's actually what I think you are here to do today with me, is more talk about emotional control, right? Because I know this is something that you focus heavily a lot on, right? Which is psychology and emotional control. And it's something that, I mean, you've been with me for what? How long now? Well over what? 4 years? Something like that?
Yeah.
4 years, something like that.
About 1,500 days.
Something
1,500, like 1,515 days to be precise.
Wow.
I write it down every day.
Wow. So if that isn't up here, that have nothing to do with trading, bro. If that isn't up here and dedication to the cause, which is marking out and mapping out your journey, then I don't know what is. That is up here, bro. That have nothing to do with trading. That have to do with you as a person and the way that you are thinking, the way you are dedicated to the cause, right? And not saying that other traders should do that, but it does say a lot about your character and your ability to be a trader. Because something I tell a lot of people all the time is anybody can trade, but not anybody or not everybody is a trader.
Right.
You understand? It's like, you know, anybody.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Right.
Anybody I look at it like hoopers or like, you know, NBA players. It's a lifestyle. Are you dribbling the basketball when you going to eat your cereal? Are you working out, running in the morning because you got to have your endurance right? Are you doing all the stuff that it takes to be a superstar? Right. Mm-hmm. That's how I look at it. Yeah. And some people, they come in and they place a couple trades or they get some money, maybe like they get their student check back and they're like, oh, I'm going to do some Forex. They buy a program and they trade for a couple of weeks and they lose interest and you don't hear from them. Maybe they hit you up in 6 months. And, you know, those are the people that, you know, are just not going to make it. And it's nothing wrong with it. Like maybe it wasn't for you, but I'm talking about, I try to highlight the characteristics of people that are successful in this business. And that's why I relate to professional sports a lot, because it's the same type of principles in dedicating to your craft. So one of the things is just people who are consistently showing up, consistently doing the work. And like, it's not like you gotta have it all figured out, be a mindset master with great risk management and a great system. It's more just about applying yourself and just working at it every day. Like there are scrubs on NBA rosters who hold their spot because they show up every day, they work hard, they know the system, right? So it's not always about, and there's an athlete who can jump fast, jump higher, run faster, do all that, but they have no discipline. They don't conform to the confines of their system, of their craft, right? Mm-hmm. And no matter how much talent they have, they won't succeed. So bringing it back to trading, I just like to highlight the different characteristics of a successful trader. And you speaking on mindset, bro, I am a basket case. I suffered from like panic disorder, manic episodes, any mental type of bipolar, all that shit. It's in my family. And, you know, I would literally be crying for hours at night, have to go to the hospital because of my negative thoughts. Like this was all maybe a decade ago, right? But over the last decade, I've worked up my mind. I've worked my confidence. I literally have changed the frequencies, my thought patterns, right? On a physical level, but it took a lot of work. So when you talk about trading, you have to have these characteristics to be a good trader. The characteristics I'm talking about are patience, discipline, being calm, not reacting emotionally, not letting your emotions take over you. And like you said, the trading is here, but really it's about the person. Like over these 15 days, I've evolved as a person, and I'm a different person now. I'm more calm, I'm more disciplined. I could see things clearly. I'm not desperate, right? I'm not desperate to get rich now or make this happen now. I'm trusting the process, and yeah, it's just a different way of life, man. And yeah, I forgot my next point. I'll pass it to you.
Bro, honestly, like we haven't spoken in a very long time. And to hear you speak like that, like gives me shivers, right? Because I know where you came from. I know what you were, right? I was there from what? I think the first 100 days or something like that in the journey.
As soon as I joined Mastermind Group, you were there.
I know exactly where you came from. I know what you have done. I know all of these struggles, all of the trials, the tribulations. I have been there for both you and Humans Uprise and all of that. And to hear you talk like that, it literally sounds like I'm listening to myself, because you said that obviously you make relations from trading to sports, right? Which is obviously an analogy. It's a comparison, right? And it's a valid comparison of that. The next thing you said is, and this is something that really resonates, that you have to become a different person, right? It comes back to the point I've had, which is anybody can trade, but not everybody is a trader, which means that in order for you to be a trader and actually get the results of a trader, you need to become a different person.
Bro, I don't know if you ever seen this, but when they play basketball out here on a blacktop, like a regular court, say you go to the park and you play basketball, there'll be people, everyone can play, right? Anyone can shoot the basketball and everyone's cool. We're all friends.
Yeah.
The time that game starts, you will see the real hoopers. They face go like this.
Absolutely.
They're not your friend no more.
Correct.
They don't talk to you.
Game time.
game time.
Game time. All jokes done. All bets are off. We're going. You understand? And it really says a lot about how important mindset is, bro. I think we have literally said this. We could sit here and talk about this for hours, bro. Hours, right? We could start a podcast on this, bro, right? Where we could literally talk about mindset for hours. But the problem is, most traders, what they will always fall victim to is the fact that because the act of trading itself is what you're really going to be dealing with on a daily basis. It's very hard to put aside the act of trading as not the most important thing. So because it's something that you're going to be dealing with every single day, you think that that's where the work really needs to be developed. But in actuality, once you have a system and a strategy in place, you know what you're doing, you know what you're looking for, you know when you're supposed to do it, you know why, you know where, you know when, you know all of these things. The reality is, once you've found out your strategy, it's really about just an edge at that point, right? Knowing, like you said, knowing the criteria, knowing your statistics and all of these different things that work for you, right? The real work is not the strategy. The real work is up here, right? And something that, the reason why I would say that is discipline. Discipline is not something that you can build. Discipline is something that comes over time. let me just say it's not something that you can build. Discipline is not something that you can just have and say, okay, well, I'm disciplined. It's something that has to be built. So I correct myself there. It's something that has to be built. And when you're building something, there's always a process. There's always a foundation. There's always the walls, the windows, the doors, the roof, and all of that. So when you're building something, it is going to be a timely process. And discipline is something that it requires you to return every single day and repeat the same thing every single day, which in itself is an act of discipline.
Yes. And that's what I was going to go to, is because a lot of traders, a lot of people who want to be traders, right, that jump around, who say something don't work a lot of times, I asked them how long have they tried the system, and they're like, well, basically they just tried it this week, right? So where's the discipline in picking up a system, in testing it out a week, taking some setups? Did you even back test it? How many years, how many pairs did you back test it on, right? So it's that same thing. And like you said, it's the act itself that builds the discipline. And so it's almost like a
double-edged sword.
Yeah. So really, you just got to do the work and take it a day at a time. But you do have to have patience to build discipline, right? I think the patience precedes the discipline, because on a day in, day out basis, say you get stopped out of a trade, you know, like, oh, I want to re-enter this so bad. Like, I just want to get this back. But the person that has patience is going to say, you know what? I don't need to get this right now. I'm thinking about my 50-year plan, retirement. If I build these skills now, I could trade good. I can get funded, whatever I want to do. But the person that's in that, I don't know, reptilian part of our brain that got to get it now, they're going to just say, you know, fuck it. Like, I'll trade it again. I got stopped out. Fuck it. I traded again. Got stopped out. Fuck it. I traded again. And then you wake up in the morning, I've done this. And then you're like, damn, I lost 25% of my account. Like, what was I thinking? Yeah. Right. So have the patience, stick to your plan, say, okay, I can only trade it once. Right. If you're someone who keep re-entering, narrow yourself to once. Set up things that will help you build your discipline, like set yourself up for success. And yeah, you're going to break it, but do your best to stick to it. Right. And then just take it from there. And that's how you're going to build the discipline, by constantly doing the process. And then you're going to look up and be like, damn, like, I'm building some willpower. It's almost like we talk about, like, you know, lifting weights, going to the gym. It seems like it's painful, it's tough, but after a while, you get used to it. And then after a while, you get used to the pain, and the pain doesn't even affect you anymore. It's like you almost look for the pain, because that's where you know the growth is. And when you start doing that, that's how you know you're getting to the next step, because you're welcoming, like you say, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You're like, shit, where am I uncomfortable at? All right, go there.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about patience. And I think that's something that, you know, you said something really profound in using the word patience in that last little segment there. Let's break down that word. And when I say break it down, let's actually break down the word patience. Okay. Patience can be broken down into two words, really: pay and tense. All right. Pay, tense. Right. I don't know if it's Latin. I don't even know if that's a breakdown, but the way I look at it, it can be broken down into two words: pay, tense. We know tense is a after, right? The tense of something, right?
Right.
And pay.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And pay obviously is how you get your money, right?
You get paid later. As a trader,
right? As a trader, you're paid to wait, right? That's what you're paid to do. Right. You're paid to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves, not when you decide to create them. So if you can realize in the back of your head that it's really about patience, or pay tense, as we see, you paid in the tense, you paid after the fact, you paid after the opportunity has presented itself, and you're smart enough, wise enough, and quick enough to take advantage of it, that is when you'll be paid.
Yep. You definitely got that skill, like just chilling, waiting, but knowing when to be aggressive and when to take advantage of opportunity. And that's that killer instinct. And I think that's a whole nother can of worms, but maybe we'll talk about that some days, because some people, they build that patience, but they got to build that confidence. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
So let's talk about that now, right?
Okay.
Let's talk about that now. So that's the flip side of things. So patience is where, well, a lack of patience obviously is where you'll be FOMOing a lot. You'll be fearing missing out on the trade, right? So you always want to get into the trade. So you're antsy, you're anxious. You have this anxiety that you're always going to be missing out on the next opportunity, when in actuality, that opportunity was never there, right? But on the flip side of the thing, you're so patient that you're seeing the opportunity come and pass you by, and you're literally missing out on it. So you are fearing missing out, so much so that you are missing out, right? Now, I'll tell you this, right?
But is that really patience?
Well, it's not patience. It's literally a fear coming in now, because you are waiting so long, even though you're seeing the opportunity present itself. You're waiting so long, and you're seeing it. You're not even trusting it at this point. And that trust is because you don't have confidence, and a lack of confidence creates a fear. Think about it. Anybody who's afraid of anything does not have confidence to deal with that thing, because they don't have experience dealing with it. Think about it. If you can think about anything that you're afraid of, if you really dig deep down enough, right, as far down as you can go, you're going to realize that it's about not having experience dealing with that thing.
Yeah.
So the more experience that you have with something, you're going to build your confidence, and the confidence goes away. I mean, not the confidence, the fear goes away. It's like an offset. I don't know if you know about the hormone balance in the body, which is, so for men, it'll be testosterone, right? And for women, it'll be estrogen. But you know that there's a hormone that balances that testosterone level.
It's like cortisone or
cortisol,
something?
That's it.
Right.
So when there's excess of cortisol in the body, there's a recess or a lack of testosterone in a male body. Right? And it's the same concept that you have to apply with your fears and confidence. When there's an increase of confidence, there's a lack of fear. And when there's an increase of fear, it's due to a lack of confidence. So, and that confidence, the only way to build that confidence, bro, is by actually interacting with the thing that you're afraid of. This is why they say that you have to face your fear, because by facing it, you are actively getting experience with it and building the confidence as you go.
Yep. And I would say how that looks in trading, at least for me, is
back testing till your eyes bleed.
Back testing till your eyes bleed, and analyzing setups, even if you're scared to take them, and just maybe journaling them, whatever, just going through them, keep analyzing them every day, right? And you're like, damn, like this is working out. I could have put 10 pips and got 100, 10 pips and got 200, whatever. And then what's going to happen is your hunger is going to outweigh your fear. You're going to be like, yo, why am I scared? Like, let's just do this. And then, put a small lot, but that is building a confidence through doing the work.
And if we were to outline that is now you being brave, because bravery is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of fear, but doing the act anyway. When you are afraid of something, but you're brave enough to face it, it is because you're still afraid of it, you're still shaking.
Because if you weren't scared of it and you just did it, it's not bravery.
It's not bravery. Right. It's literally a normal day.
Right. So we need to work to be brave, because that means we're conquering our fears.
That's it. So, and you see, these are things that a lot of traders don't really internalize, because of the fact that they think that because what you're dealing with on a daily basis is trend lines and support and resistance and supply and demand and smart money concepts and all of these different things, they think that that's where the work is. But in actuality, if you just find one system, and there are so many systems out there, right? Listen, we could get lost trying to find a system, trying to find a system, right? You can get lost doing that. Once the system has a slight edge, and if we were to, people always like to make comparisons between traders and gamblers. If we were to make a comparison between a trader and a gambler, if we were to say we're gambling, we're going into a casino, realistically, the casino only has a slight edge on you. It's nothing significant to say that you are guaranteed to lose, because you are, but the edge is just enough that it's going to leave you toppling and constantly spinning between profit and loss, eventually being skewed to a loss. So over time, and the longer you stay in the casino, obviously you're going to lose more, right? Very unlikely that you're going to win more, right? It's just about finding just a little edge. As one setup with a little edge is nothing significant. You do that, bro, and you focus on the thing that really matters, which is discipline over time, bravery over time. right? You do that, bro, I'm telling you. And I know you know this. Doing that over time, that's it.
And on a kind of like a side note, just speaking of the casinos, because I like using that as a comparison too, just to highlight the differences in what we do, right? So we always know one main difference is the bank risk management, right? Or if you're a gambler, bankroll management, you can apply those same concepts, right? But in the casino world, the difference from Forex, right? Because there are gamblers who develop edges, that develop a system that will win, right? Even in, blackjack. But what the casinos do is they cut you off. If they find out you have the edge, there are people who have a bunch of different phones, different apps, and anytime they start winning, the casino cuts them off. Or if you go and you start counting cards in blackjack, they kick you out. In Forex, we're counting cards. That's what we're doing. So that's the beauty of this game. We can have an edge and it's allowed, right? They're not going to kick us out.
Nope. And what is even more interesting is you're saying that we are counting cards. You don't know how profound that is, in a sense of the market has no choice but to show you its hand. It has no choice. So if you can find an edge, utilize and just be patient enough to wait for your opportunity, wait for your setup, wait for your criteria, your rules to present themselves and show themselves to you, and you be disciplined enough to the point where you can actually say, you know what? Yes, this is it. This looks like it. I think this is it here. Let's pull the trigger. And whether you win or lose, you're neutral. And I know you know that that's how I've been for years, bro. Whether you win or lose, you're neutral. It's like,
it took me a while to develop that.
Right.
Sure,
and it will. And you know something? It will take a while, because that is the point, and that is the process of building the discipline. It's not something that you're going to get overnight. Success as a trader is not something that's going to come overnight. It is something that's going to come over time.
Right.
You understand? So it is going to take.
You have to get calloused in a way.
Exactly. Right. You have to dig at that scab, dig at that scab, dig at that scab.
Like the karate master. He breaks a bunch of wood. Eventually, he don't even feel it. His hand is just hard. And that's how I feel now, because it's not like I feel like, oh, I'm not worried about the trade and shit like that. It's just like,
always have some kind of little worry about it, but it's not enough to bother you. Am I right?
Right. I got to the point now, it was just like, kind of like one day I woke up and I was like, oh, I don't even care that I lost anymore. And you think that you're going to care, and then you just stop caring. It's like, it really is the shifting your mind from wins and losses to a mindset of probability. And I think that's important too, because we're talking about traders finding an edge. And I think another problem is people want to jump around when the setup don't work, or it's one bad week with the setup. But it's just all a probability,
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if we talk about something like as simple as if you go into towards risk management, right? People oftentimes get these two metrics mixed up, thinking that one is more important than the other, and it's actually the other way around. Win-loss ratio and risk-reward ratio. Most people prioritize trying to win more trades. Right? I could care less about that, as you know. I am prioritizing making sure that the trades that I do win, I win them big, or as big as they can get. Because let's be real. Because we know, I should say, what is going to happen, right? We cannot say that we're going to have a strategy that is going to win 90% of the time and win big 90% of the time. Because here's the thing, that 90% of the time is only on a week by week basis. This week, you might have a 90% win-loss ratio, but what about next week? What about the week after? What about the week after? What about if something starts to disrupt you in the mind and starts to make you see unclear, and now you end up going into a losing streak?
What if the market wants to accumulate for a month?
Exactly.
Or 2 months. Yeah.
And the thing is, with that, you've gone into a losing streak now, and because your risk-reward ratio is not that healthy, I should say, that losing streak is actually going to take everything back from you. And I've seen it. Bro. You're winning, you're winning trades, winning. One after the next, you're winning. But the problem is you're not winning big enough for it to make sense. So that when you do go into a losing streak, and you will inevitably go into a losing streak, and any trader who does not agree to that is lying or naive.
Steph Curry missed 15 threes in a row. He's the greatest shooter of all time.
Right? So if the greatest of all time is going to make mistakes and not always be on his A game, who are you? Who are you to say that you're always going to have a 90% win loss? What you really need to cater for is the times when you're not going to have a 90% win to loss ratio. And that is where the risk reward ratio metric comes in. So instead of trying to focus on winning more trades, try to focus on make sure that the trades that you are winning, that they win as far as you can get them to win.
Right.
You understand?
Which means quality setups.
Exactly. You understand? I would say a 1 to 3 is not healthy. Me personally.
It's a minimum.
It's a minimum, but I would say 1 to 5, start there. That's me. Try to start there. Right. And I mean, it's definitely down to personal perspective. Anybody can change it up. You can do what you like. But if I were to say, I would say start with a 1 to 5. Let me tell you a little story. And I think I told you the story already. If I haven't, well, I'm telling you this today. Right. But it's more for the viewers, right? So it's a religious story, right? But it applies in the real world. So this man died and he went to heaven. And in heaven, God was walking with him, right? And God was walking with him and down a long hallway. And down this long hallway, there are doors, right? Millions and millions and millions of doors. And it ended up that the man who died ended up seeing his name on one of the doors. So God, minding his business, God decided to keep walking. And the man started to tug at God and say, God, what? Look my name there. What's happening? Why is my name on that door? And God said, no, you don't want to go in there. You don't want to go in there. And he said, no, why? What's in there? He's like, listen, son, trust me. My son, don't go in there. You don't want to go in there. Right? And he said, no, God, please tell me what is in there. And God said, you sure you want to go in there? And he took him in. And when he went in, there were shelves piled tens of stories high. And on these shelves were boxes with his name on each individual box. And the man was confused. He said, God, what is this? What is it that I'm looking at? And God said, my son, these are all of the opportunities that I sent to you that you did not want to accept. Damn. The man just literally felt it in his bones. Because now what you're not understanding is, if we go back to what we were speaking about earlier, it's about making sure that you take advantage of each and every opportunity when it presents itself. So when an opportunity presents itself, let's just say a trade looks, based on your analysis, it looks like it is going to go, I don't know, 200 pips. But you have a 1 to 3 and you take in 60 pips from that, and it keeps going. You're going to feel salty. You're probably going to, if your discipline is not up there, you're probably going to try to get back in, which means you're opening back your risk again for no reason, right? And you could have just held the trade as long as possible. We don't know how far it's really going to go, but the aim of it, if you know that you're trying to make as much money as possible, the aim of it is not to set a limit on the amount of profit you can make. The aim is to minimize the risk and maximize the reward. You can't maximize the reward when you limit it. You feel me?
Yeah. Do you ever think about your trailing setup and like how you do it, and if it can limit you with how you? I kind of asking like a very specific question. Like, do you say like, because one point is you say I need to let it breathe, right? So I guess that would be the answer, just letting it breathe. But do you ever feel like, man, I should have pulled it down? Should have, none of that?
No.
You kind of got your sweet spot.
Everything has a purpose and has a reason for being. And if I did not move it, there was a reason for me not moving it. Maybe I know the reason, maybe I don't know the reason. But I'll tell you this, everything happens for a reason, right? And it might be maybe because it was trying to teach you a lesson, maybe pay more attention. Maybe it was you had a reason for not moving it because you saw something on the chart. But I'll tell you this, because I am acknowledging the fact that I don't know how far anything is going to go, if it's even going to go in my favor, because I'm acknowledging that fact, I am okay with being not okay. I am comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where real growth happens. Discomfort breeds growth, while comfort breeds stagnance. You don't want that.
Okay. Do you ever feel like, oh, I trailed it too tight, I wasted the opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would be lying to you if I told you no. I have times where I would trail it too aggressive, be taken out, and it keeps going. UJ is a classic example of that. That big run up on UJ. I think it went I think, if I'm not mistaken, 1,700 pips in the last 3 months or something like that. And I was right about the buy. And I think I only captured like 400 or 500 pips from it, if I'm not somewhere. Well, excuse me. Yes, only, right? But I mean, I digress. That 1,700 that I could possibly have taken more from is there to buffer for when I do not get the trade right and I go into the losing streak. Because I will.
So what do you tell the traders? I know you're interviewing me, I think. But
no. I mean, we go in. You talk.
What do you tell the traders who, are greedy, So like, how do they mend that taking advantage of full opportunity, but not being greedy at the same time?
Good. So as you know, I teach with a lot of stories, right? So this is a lesson for anybody listening. If you think that is greed, right? So let's just say I came to your city and I decided to come visit you, right? You invited me into your home and I came visited you and we hung out and stuff, right? And you decided to offer me a plate of food, right? Me being a gracious host, a gracious guest, I'd accept. Maybe I'm hungry, so I'll eat the food. If I decided I finish all of the food and I decide to now come and ask you, hey, Elwin, could I get some more? And you oblige, you give me more food. I eat it again, second plate of food, and I say, I'm still hungry. Elwin, could I get more? Then you might say, yeah, Brandon, a little greedy, right? Maybe. But on the flip side of things, what if you decided to offer me another plate of food every time I finish it? Is that greedy or is that being accepting? You understand? If the market is giving it to you, who are you to deny its graciousness? But if it is you looking, they're literally out there looking for more, right? Something different. But if the market is giving it to you, who am I to deny your come on, your kindness?
So you got to be in tune with the market and how it's moving and move with it. But not try to force your will on it.
And that's the thing, right? And it's actually really simple from a technical analysis standpoint. As you know, I'm a momentum-based trader. That's where you're going to make the most amount of money, right? And I know that, right? I taught you, I know.
You taught me,
right? I'm a momentum-based trader. So if the market is in momentum, once it's not showing me signs that it's going to reverse, why should I try to go against it? So long as it's showing me signs that it's going to keep going, I'm going to keep selling it, bro. I'm going to keep buying it. I'm going to keep doing that. And if it starts to show me signs that it's rejecting, I might either hold my stop loss right there in profit or just let it take me out. Either which way.
But you never close it.
Never close it.
Because you're gonna feel salty if it was just a little trap structure and then it drops back down and you're reacting emotionally. And then you can't sustain that. You're gonna constantly be watching and, oh, is it making a W? Yep. Instead of just flowing with the market.
Correct. So how I like to look at that is, if I purposefully spilled the milk, maybe I could cry about it, right? But if I had no say in spilling the milk, why should I be upset? In other words, if the market took me out and there was nothing I could do, what is there to be upset about? There's nothing you could have done. The way you put your stop loss, where you put it, how you had it, the trade you entered, everything. There was nothing that you could have done that would have allowed you to stay in the trade in a healthy way.
Right. Because maybe you could have left your stop loss at break even, but you were already 70 pips up. And then what if it stops you out? You gave up all that money. So that's not a healthy way.
Correct. Or another way to say that it's not healthy, maybe you see coming back and instead of your stop loss is at 70 pips, you see coming back, you move your stop loss to 50 pips. You're moving your stop loss out of profit. The purpose of the trailing stop is to, as price is coming back to you, you are bringing your stop loss closer to price so you can secure it as it goes. Because if it's coming back to you so much, it could be a sign that the market is going to reverse. You understand?
Yeah.
And that's on psychology. That have nothing to do with technicals, bro.
Right.
That is on psychology. If I'm seeing the market coming back and my stop loss is at 70 pips, I'm not going to move it further, because I don't want to let it run straight into my stop loss. But if it does happen to come and hit me, my stop loss at 70 pips, all right, cool. There was nothing I could have done. Can't cry over spilt milk. But subversive, if it is I were to close it at 70 pips, and then it literally showed me nothing, no reason that it was going to reverse against me, and then it dropped 300 pips after that, oh boy, I would be frustrated. I would be upset. I I will be blue mad. I'll probably be trying to get back in. And then again, you're opening back your risk for no reason. You were already in the trade. Stay in the trade. Something that I know, and I know this is the truth, bro, from doing it. Time in the market is better than timing the market.
Yes,
so the longer
I agree.
you stay in
I
one
agree.
trade, the longer you stay in one trade, bro, it works out better because your risk, once the trade is in your favor, your risk is now defeated.
Yeah,
right?
The hard part's done. Like just chill, just coast.
It's just about managing it now, right? Yep. But as the thing, people, what they do is as soon as the trade goes 3, 4, 5 pips in profit, you know what they do? They move their stop to break even, and the first thing they say is risk-free. No, it's not risk-free. You can still lose the trade. You mightn't lose money, but you're still going to be taken out at break even. And at that point, you've wasted your time analyzing the trade.
It's not risk-free until you trailed in profits that cover your risk.
That's it. You cover the risk. So if you risk 1%, if you're secured 1%, it's risk-free.
Yeah.
You understand? And these are things that a lot of traders don't think about. This is risk management and psychology. And if you realize they are mixing both of them, you understand? We ain't up to now, we ain't touch our chart yet. And I don't think we need to. You understand? I don't think we need to, because it's not about the technical analysis. And the more I say that, is the more people tend to run towards trying to find a good technical analysis strategy. It's not about that, bro. It's not, it's never been about that. What about if we go back to the times when they used to have to call in to place a trade? There was no technical analysis then. So how are you knowing? How? It has to do with psychological numbers that they're hearing. You understand? It has to do with fundamentals. Technical analysis is only a new way. This is a fairly new thing. If you go on most charts, they start at 2009. You understand? 2009, 1990.
But trading's been going on since 1800s, yeah.
Bro, trading has been going on since the dawn of time.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Since the dawn of time. If we want to go back to what trading really has been called, it has been called bartering, right? Yeah. Which is where they used to trade copper and iron ore. You understand? Bread. You understand? Wines. They used to trade items for items. Items of value for items of similar value.
Right. Or even like, the shoe game now, or video games. It's like, if you know how to buy it low and sell high, you're doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
But some people will, that new sneaker comes out, it gets marked up 10 times, and then they want it, and then they go buy it at the premium. The same with traders. But someone like us, we always gonna see that value. And I mean, if we want to buy a premium item, we know what we're doing, but we know how to buy low, sell high. But anyway, if you go to a website like StockX, you heard of it? Yeah, for shoes, right? They have charts, and you'll see like an M pattern when the shoe peaked and a W, because it's just human psychology, right?
Wow. Wow. I'll tell you something as well, right? If we're going back to when way back in time, right? Everybody has always been a trader, Whether you trade in the Forex market, crypto, stocks, commodities, bonds, indices, whatever. Whether you even know what trading is, you are a trader, It's kind of like the law of gravity, or the law of reciprocation, or the law of reciprocity, the law of attraction, the law of vibration. These laws exist whether you understand them and know them or not. Right. You are a trader whether you know it and understand it or not. Because I'll tell you this, people listening to this now are trading their time for the knowledge or the messages that we have. Isn't that trading? You're trading your time for information. You're trading your time for media. When you're on TikTok swiping, I am guilty of this, bro. I do this, bro. Just last night, I was doing that shit. You understand? Literally just swiping on TikTok. Literally. An hour and a half. I fall asleep, wake back up and still swiping, bro. Right? But I'm trading my time. All right? That's my me time. I'm trading my time for media. You understand? It's information. Some of it is information. Some of it is good. Some of it is bad. I'll be honest. You can learn a lot from the media. Right? But I'll tell you this, you are a trader whether you understand it and know it or not. Now, the main thing is, are you a good trader? Are you making good trades? Because here's what a lot of people do. A lot of people would trade their time for absolute garbage. So when I said that I spent an hour and a half last night swiping, bro, my day has ended. This is after 1 in the morning. I'm not in any trades. I've already decided I wasn't in any trades or anything. I'm literally on my bed in the dark. You understand? Just trying to fall asleep, and for whatever reason I couldn't because I just mindlessly swiping. But what a lot of people do is they'd spend the entire day doing shit like that. You understand? They'd spend the entire day just mindlessly watching TV. You understand? They'd spend the entire day.
It's bad time management.
Exactly, right? And the entire day scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, right? Wasting time, the entire day gossiping. You're trading your time for something, you know. Is it worth your while? Is it a good trade you're making?
Right.
That's the question.
That's how we need to kind of evaluate our lives all the time. Speaking of, no pun intended, you know, just constantly be taking inventory. What am I doing with my time? Because that's the most limited resource. And if you want to scroll on TikTok for 2 hours after your long day, so be it.
Yeah.
Me personally, my screen time on my phone last week was 28 minutes per day.
Wow, that's good.
But I tell you this, I gamed my ass off playing Zelda and all type of shit, because that was what I delegated my free time to. I've been back into gaming and collecting and stuff. So I'm like, this is what I'm going to do, because I get enjoyment out of it. Is video games a waste of time? You bet your ass. But do I have fun with it? Do it calm me down? Do I enjoy it? Yes. To
be honest, I wouldn't say it's a waste of time, because here's the thing. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. The main thing is you should have something to de-stress at the end of a long day. You should, because I mean, yes, you should be very productive. You should aim to be productive. You should aim to be pushing yourself and always doing things to make more income or grow yourself, grow your business, you know, progress further into life and do better for yourself and your family and all of the generations to come. I agree with that. But just remember, it's not about the destination. It is about the journey. And at the point, the point I'm trying to make here is, while yes, all of these things are important, if you don't stop to smell the roses along the way, you listen, we can die. We don't know how much time we have. Listen, God could strike me down right here, right now, and I wouldn't know. You don't know when you're dead, bro. You ever hear about people knowing when they've died? They don't know. So I can just literally lose my life here right now, God forbid. And the reality is, I didn't enjoy my life. This is why I tell a lot of traders, learn to enjoy the process of not being where you want to be. Because when you get where you want to be, it's actually very boring. And any good trader who's profitable, who does not agree with that, clearly is naive. Because I'll tell you this, a good trader just literally repeats the same thing over and over and over. And if that isn't redundant and boring, I don't know. By no means am I saying making money and being profitable and being consistent is boring. But what I am saying is the act of trading itself, if you're doing it right, is a very, very boring thing. Let's be honest. It's a very, very boring thing, bro.
But I love it.
And that's the thing. Nobody's saying not to love it, you know, because
it is boring, but that's what I was saying. Like, and that's how I know who's built for this, because you gotta love it, man. You can't be like, oh, I'm bored on the charts. Yeah, it's boring, but that's because we do it all the time.
Right.
You know?
And that's the thing. So that's what I'm saying. So yes, obviously, if you're doing it right, it's actually a boring thing. Right. Yep. But by no means am I saying that you shouldn't love it. Or absolutely. Yep. We're here because we love this thing, right? We love this game. We'll come back every day. You're borderline addicted to it, right? But
just like layup drills or kicking drills for the goalie, you know, blocks, it can get boring. Like, athletes love to play, but do they love to go to practices and OTA workouts? No, but you do it because it's part of the process.
Exactly. I was watching something on a podcast from, you know, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Right. He did a podcast with Logic, and he posted it like about 2 days ago, right? And in the podcast, he said, and I think I could probably even find the clip and show you. He said that contrary to popular belief, he hates working out, despite the fact that he had to work out because when he had to fight Floyd Mayweather and he was boxing and all that, he was working out 4 or 5 hours a day. So even though you love the act of fighting and all of that, all of the other redundancies, all of the other things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, once you're doing it the right way and it is in repetition and discipline, it's boring. That doesn't mean
I used to hate getting up for the market or like staying up, but now I can't even stay asleep, or it's just like the times are wired into me. But bro, I used to hate it and just be miserable. Like, I really got to get up and look at the charts wanting to cry, but that's because I knew what it was going to take to be successful, right?
Absolutely.
Like, that's one of my gifts, is the foresight, but that doesn't mean in a process it was fun and, you know, not tedious and annoying, but yeah.
Yeah, bro. So, I mean,
Yep.
we could go so deep, so deep, and for so long on psychological topics. And bro, honestly, if I don't stop it here, if we don't stop it here, bro, we will talk for another 5 hours.
Let me just say one last thing,
Sure.
just to kind of close it up. All of it's going to come back to your purpose, right? And we started the conversation talking about purpose. I was saying, sometimes I don't know what my purpose is. I feel like it's changing. And you clarified and explained, no, your purpose is whatever you're called to do, essentially. And it will present itself, and it may manifest in different ways.
Correct.
So we have to always remember our purpose, but then bring it back to even just our why. Why do we do this? So just always remember your why, your purpose. It's usually going to be, you know, your family. For most of us, you want to change your life, you want to help others, all that good stuff. So yeah, just always bring it back to that when you get confused or just lost on this trading journey, or whatever journey you may be doing, right? I use sports all day to parallel, but whatever it is, just put yourself in that purpose, that macro. And I promise you, on a day-to-day basis, you could get out of your ego. You could get out of the instant results, and you could start to trust the process and let the growth, the development take place. And that's what we're talking about, that patience and that discipline, and how it builds you up to be great, to be a master in whatever field. And yeah, we're talking about trading. So yeah, just that, and the risk management being the most important part, because if you can't survive in this business, if you can't even have an account to trade, how are you going to gain experience? How are you going to be in the game, right? So just keep yourself in the game, and that risk management is going to allow you to stay in the game, stay getting experience, stay getting the reps, at least be able to be actively trading to become a trader.
Absolutely. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. One thing I just want to say, you know, I really want to thank you for just coming and being a part of the Relatable Trader. And, you know, I really...
We're going to do this again?
We're going to do this again, bro.
Cool.
Right? We're going to do this again. Right? Because I think that if anybody really sits down and listens to the entire video, and I really hope that everybody does, that you could get to this far. If you did, obviously comment below. Comment win life below. Right? If you've got this far, you should be able to comment win life below. That's the code. Right? If you've listened to this entire thing, I think a lot of people would get a lot of value out of this, because we're trying to talk about the things here that most traders don't even touch on. They don't even skim over, right? And it's not all about the technical analysis. And bro, I just want to, you know, I just want to thank you for coming and, you know, spending your time with us and giving my viewers, and even possibly some of your viewers, you know, the ability to really absorb some of the knowledge that you have in the space. You understand? So for that, you know, we really want to say thanks, and it's been beautiful. I want to tell you congratulations as well on, you know, just being an overall, not only a better person, but a better trader, right? Very, very important that you become a better person in all of this. If as a man you aren't growing, you're not living, you're dying. You understand? So it says a lot about, one, your character and your ability to develop yourself. So for that, obviously, I think we could close it off here. And yeah,
I just want to say thank you for having me. Thanks for, you know, pulling me up, right? And pouring into me and making me a peer of yours. Like, that shit touches me, bro, because now I get to, you know, run with the big dogs, and I learn how to carry myself in this business. Because if you don't know how to carry yourself, you know, if you don't be around real men, real women who are doing this, you know, where are you going to get it from? So, you know, thank you for letting me be on the team. Now I got my own team, but, you know, we always won, bro.
That's correct. That's correct. So I think we can close it off here. And yeah, bro.